Welcome to Lightroom Photography and to a camera lens review. One of the most famous camera lenses of the last 5 or 6 years has been the Sigma 35mm f1.4 art lens. I have it as well for I think about 4 years and I never made a video about it. I took a lot of images with it and a lot of photo shoots with it on this channel, but I never really gave you a spoken word a feeling about this lens. So this video is all about the Sigma 35mm f1.4 art lens. I have 6 stories that I'm going to tell you so you can make up your own mind if that lens is for you or not. My review is always real world oriented. I don't take many pictures of the lens and put in the video. I want to show you many pictures that I took with the lens. And we will go and take a look at many pictures that I took of people, because what I do is mostly photographing people. And the Sigma 35mm art lens is, I think, one of the most famous Instagram lenses many Instagram photographers use. I'm not really sure about it, but I heard it a lot. Many people who are on Instagram take pictures of themselves. This is the lens to get if you want to get that great image quality and that look. And I want to give you my experience with it. This is a mixed review. I'm not here to tell you it's super great, and I'm not going to tell you it's super bad. And over the time that I'm going to speak, you will find out what I mean by it. So let's dive into the first story. So I do a lot of photo shoots, and whenever I get paid for it, I don't post it anywhere. It's only for the people I photograph. Now, there are moments when I do stuff for free. When I do it for free, you will probably see it here on this channel. So I went to Amsterdam, from Germany to Amsterdam with the bus, 5 hours to Amsterdam in the morning, 5 hours in the evening back. So I had a couple of hours in Amsterdam, and my goal was talking to people on the streets, photographing them right there where I meet them, and then give them all the images for free. Why would I do that? Because what I'm doing there is not about making money for me, not getting stuff. It's about becoming, and you become by giving. And nothing teaches a young person character better than generosity. That's a quote from Jim Rohn. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's go into Amsterdam. It was raining, it was really wet, it was windy. I could not even talk to people because they were like this with their umbrella. And I was standing there thinking, should I go home now or what? It's so difficult to talk to anybody. It's raining, I'm wet, it's cold. And finally I got to talk to some people. And then finally I got to some shootings. And here are the images and the videos, so you see how quickly the images were created. Here, for example, you see the oh yeah, that is, yeah, perfect. And you can look a little bit down, maybe to your hands.
Yeah.
I think that's also nice. Just stay right there. There's the from this side. Oh, you have a very nice look. I think it's a very cool outfit.
Okay, thank you.
And you can look a little bit over there. Oh yeah. Do you have to take this tram?
No, I don't have to hurry, but okay. I go home. But
and you can also look a little bit down. Oh yeah, that's look to your nose.
To my nose?
Yeah.
Till like with my eyes.
Yeah. That's good. That's fine. Goody goody. Maybe one more from. I go there. And Milou, I talked to her at the tram station. She was waiting for a tram, and she had the hat on, and it looked really nice. And we did a photo shoot. And you see how easily these images were created. And I believe photography doesn't need to take long. I really value being in the moment, being in an intensity. 3 minutes of intensity are more important to me than 20 minutes of low energy. And the street photography is all high energy in minutes. And I think you can also see it here. So we took images in Amsterdam, and you see what you can do with this lens. I only had the 35mm 1.4 lens on the Canon 6D Mark I, the old one. Photographed nearly everything at f1.4, f1.6, f1.8. Everything you see in this video is shot wide open or relatively wide open. I always and mostly use lenses wide open, especially prime lenses when they go to f1.4. And you see how nice you can get close to a person and blur everything around it, blur it out to get a portrait. Or you get a little bit further away and you get more context. Where are we? How's the weather? See a little bit more of the background. And the more you go away, the less blurry the background will be. So if you want a blurry background, you have to get relatively close. With this lens, it's a wide angle lens. The wider a lens, the more difficult it is to get a blurry background. So these are the images from Amsterdam. Now, in this review, I want the images to speak to you. And you see with the images, is that lens for me? Do I like the images? You can see from the video, how far am I away to get the shot? Am I close? Do I have to go far away? So you see how working with the lens looks like. Okay, that was in Amsterdam. I did the same in Germany, in Hamburg. So I decided to choose one weekend, talk to people on the streets, and photograph 101 people on one weekend. And also for free. Everybody gets all images for free. They don't even see my website. Again, it's not about what I get on this weekend, it's what I become, and I become by giving without asking anything in return. That gives me a great feeling, and I'm building character. I'm still a young person, so it's very important to me to do good to other people, just for my own sake, you could say. Okay, so here again, I had different lenses with me this time, but I will show you the pictures of the 35mm lens. And again, there's some really nice moments, some really nice portraits, people hugging each other, getting closer together, emotion, and you can capture that intimacy when you get close to the person. You can also get more context of it when you go further away, and shooting at f1.4, f1.6, f1.8 will give you that isolation in the background if you are relatively close. If you go too far away, you will relatively fast see more of the background and the isolation is no longer there. At least not so much. Okay, that was in Hamburg. So now let's go on to the third location, Madrid. Still the same camera, Canon 6D. I did the same. I photographed people on the streets. And here you now see the images from Madrid. And you see, I want to show you different images from different places and different times. Some images in the summer, some images nearly winter, some images in the rain. So you see what you can get with it. Talking about shooting in the rain, I have no idea if this lens is water resistant or waterproof or whatsoever. It still works. I have it now for 4 years, so I don't see anything bad at it. And I shot a couple of times in the rain with it. So I think it's fine. It's very hefty. So now, as you've seen a lot of images, let me talk a little bit about the technical stuff. Now, people can say it's well built, and that's true, but for me it's also very heavy. And it's heavy in two terms. It's heavy just holding it, but also because it's relatively long. On the camera, it's very front heavy. It makes the camera very heavy on the front. And you see me in these videos photographing with one hand mostly, because I have another camera in my other hand filming. So if you shoot a lot with one hand, I find this lens to be uncomfortable holding it, because it's too long and therefore too heavy on the front of the camera. This is very subjective. Other people will tell you, no problem, I don't care. But for me, who is shooting long hours very often, and I've also used this on weddings a lot, it's not my perfect choice to use of any kind of lens because it hurts my hand. And it's something that you don't read in the articles. How does it feel using it? When you know, the style of shooting that I do with one hand, it hurts in the hand because the lens is for me too long and too heavy. Okay, now the positive thing about this lens is the price. This is nearly half the price than the Canon, the new Canon equivalent or Nikon equivalent. So if you're on a budget, it's much easier to get this lens than any other lens with the f1.4 aperture. So there is a high probability that if you choose 35 1.4, you will get this lens. It's an autofocus 1.4 aperture, well built or also heavy, and all that I told you now is totally fine. There's one thing that I found really annoying, and that's the autofocus reliability. Now, when you take a look at lenses and camera systems, like Canon, for example. I have a Canon camera, and Canon doesn't tell Sigma how the autofocus works. So Sigma has to take a look at the camera and re-engineer. So they have to re-engineer. It means they look at the autofocus system and then try to think, how was it built up? And they probably get very close to the truth, but probably not 100%. So in my experience, this lens is not very reliable in autofocus. It's my lens. Maybe you have the same lens, but with your camera, your lens works fine. This is something, every lens is different. And you read many reviews where people say, it's the sharpest lens I've used, it's so on point, the focus. And the next review right under it says, it's the worst focus experience I've ever had. It's so unsharp, it's never on point, it's never on the eye, it's always on the ear. It always has front focus or back focus. And because Sigma knows that, they've created a way that you can adjust it, the USB dock. So for 40 or 50 euros, you can buy a piece of gear and you put the lens on it and connect it to your computer, and then you can fine adjust it. Now this is not for me. I bought this lens, the autofocus was really bad. I had no good feeling using this lens. Whenever I shot with it, I thought all the other lenses I have are way better. For me, for the joy that I have, because the other lenses, the Canon lenses, they are so much more on point with the focus. And this was so off focus so often. Now you don't see it here in the videos because I take many images, so I nearly always have an image that is right on point. Ah, ja. Sí, muy, ah, ja.
Closer.
Claro, muy bueno. Y si tú estás aquí, tú puedes así. Ah, ja. Perfecto. Y si funciona, si un beso aquí. Muy bueno. Perfecto. Okay, muy bien. Muy chula. Sí, podéis disfrutar. O tú puedes también hacer así. ¿No? Ah, ok. Oh, sí. Muy bien. Y voy un poco más cerca.
¿Cómo que eso?
O tú así y con tu... Ya, así. Y una vez... si... voy a ver, ¿eso aquí? Si tú... sí, eso es muy guay. Muy cerca. Muy bueno. Y mira a mí. Voy a ver. Sí, está bien. Y un poco más cerca. Ah, ya. Muy guay. Y voy un poco más. Ah, ya. Muy guay. Vamos a ver. ¿Y otra?
¿Aquí siempre?
Ya.
¿Sí?
Y solo... Y hago también una de ti, así. Y puedes mirar a ella. Y también una así. Y también puedes mirar a ella. Y ahora yo hago una de aquí. Voy a ver. Pop, pop. Sí, muy guay. ¿Por?
No sabemos qué hacer,
Ah,
no somos muy buenos modelos.
No, sí, esta es muy guay. Está muy bien. Y, por ejemplo, algo así.
Yo,
Oh, igual. ¿Quién? Ja, muy guay. Y voy un poco más cerca. Así. Muy guay. Y un coche. Vamos aquí. Hacemos otra vez el mismo. Con tu mano. Tu mano aquí.
Ah, tu mano.
Ya, sí. Sí, muy guay. Voy a ver. ¿Y otra vez? Porque yo no puedo ver. Muy bien. Y vamos una vez aquí.
No sé qué va a salir de eso.
Ja, es siempre. Funciona. Algunas sí, algunas no. Y por ejemplo, esto es muy guay también. Tenemos un poco verde en el fondo. Y tú puedes con tu. Ya. Y podéis mirar a mí. Sí, muy guay. Voy un poco más cerca. Vamos a ver. Es como eso. Y tengo también otra vez aquí.
Aquí, la verde.
Ja, y si podéis, por ejemplo, tú aquí y podéis un poco. Ja, sí.
Muy romántico, ¿no?
Muy guay. Ja. Muy bonito. Y voy un poco más aquí. Pop. Y otra vez. Muy guay. Y más, más cerca. Ja. Muy guay. Muy un poco más. Muy bonito. Por ejemplo. Y otra vez así, muy cerca. Ya. Muy guay. Muy romántico. Voy un poco más. Así. Muy guay. ¿Y podéis mirar a vosotros? Perfecto. Y sí. Ya. Muy guay. Voy a ver. Es como. But there's a lot of frustration when you use your shooting style that works with the 51.2, but it doesn't work with the 35.1.4. And you wonder why is the one that's more shallow depth of field, why is that more in focus than the wide angle lens? So my experience, and this is the negative point, and this can, somebody else might tell you the exact opposite. The sharpest lens, always on point, always on focus, but mine wasn't. And so I can't tell you it will always be great, and I can't tell you yours will always be bad. But there is a chance, there's a probability that you will get a copy where the focus might be front focus, back focus, and it also depends something that you focus in the near distance or something in the long distance. This can also vary. So this is something that you have to consider when you choose this lens and think about autofocus. Okay, now let's go on to France, to Toulouse. I also photographed people on the streets of Toulouse. I was there for a wedding, and when I had a little bit of time, I went out and photographed people. And again, you see how the images were created in the video and how quickly you got to these results. Now, I talked about the autofocus reliability, and the point is that the cameras that come out now and that came out the last year or the last 2 years, they have a new camera system. My Canon 6D Mark I, I have to choose an autofocus point, and there the lens will focus on. And if the lens is not well calibrated and has a front or back focus, you will see that using this autofocus system. With the Canon 6D Mark II, the 5D Mark IV, the EOS R, the EOS RP, with the live view, you got a different autofocus system that does not show any autofocus behavior of the lens. With this I take the pictures. I just have to check. Or I take this maybe here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. You come a little bit closer and you can look into this direction. There we go. It always works. Maybe here. Oh yeah, I just a little bit here. Yeah, and you can look into this direction. Oh yeah, then your vision. And I did. I just keep it like this. Maybe, or you can stand there on the wall. Oh yeah, oh that's nice. Maybe like, I just have to check. Yeah, it's okay. I just put it like this. So it's all improvised, but I'm alone, so oh, that's nice. And look into this direction. Oh yeah. If the lens has bad autofocus, the new camera system will work perfectly with the lens, and you will get nearly all images on point because the system of focusing is now different. And let me show you two situations. Now, I took this lens out to a family trip to Spain, where my girlfriend lives, and I thought, which lens am I going to bring? And I hadn't used this lens for maybe 2 years. It was standing in standing somewhere in my house, and I always thought about, why don't I sell it? Why do I still have it? I don't like it. I don't like to use it. The images are good, but I don't like to use it. So I don't bring it to a photo shoot. If I want a wide angle, I don't bring the 35, I bring the 24. That's really wider. If I want portraits with environment, I take the 50. I like 50mm much more than 35, but that's a personal preference. And so we went to holiday last Christmas, and so I thought I will only bring the Sigma Art lens, give it a last chance to use it, just to use it. Otherwise I have a bad feeling if I don't use it for so long. And you know, now afterwards I only had this lens, and I think it's a really great all-round lens. You get portraits when you get close, you get environmental images, landscape images when you get a little bit further away. So if you only have one lens, it's a really great focal length, 35. And f1.4 gives you a very nice shallow depth of field. You can shoot in the dark, pretty much, with the wide open aperture. So using this lens and looking at the images, there's nothing bad about it. And I can really, when I show you these images, all the images that you see now in this video, and you see it, there are probably people who say, I will buy this lens because of the images that I see now. And there are people who wrote me, who bought the lens just because they saw my street photography videos using this. and I felt I didn't feel like I would recommend this lens just because of the flaws it has for me. Like the weight, it's front heavy, autofocus is a little bit here and there, not always on point. Way more off than all other lenses I have. So this is the least fun to use because on my back I always think about, is it now sharp or not? Using the older cameras. Okay, sixth story. Let's go to the last one. I went with my girlfriend and our son to Italy, to Venice, also last year. And I had the 85 1.2 lens, very slow, very heavy. Now this is heavier than this. And the 35mm 1.4. And again, when I look at these images here that I show you now, I cannot say anything bad about it. I cannot say the images turn out bad. I can't say that. Look at these images, they turn out beautifully. But using this lens, it doesn't feel so nice to me, so I don't like to use it so often. And so that's why I said in the beginning, it's going to be a contrast in my review. Beautiful images, but I don't like to use the lens. Because of autofocus, because of heaviness, and so because I like 50mm focal length more. If I go out on the streets, I take a 50mm lens. I nearly never use 35. Only if I want to film it sometimes, I just to get something different. But usually when I do a shooting for money, I never bring this lens. And this is something that it's a feeling, and it's not on the spec sheet. You know, it's a great price. It has a 35 f1.4. The lens in general is very sharp. That's what they say. It has a nice bokeh. And you will find many people who build their business on this lens. If they do a lot of Instagram work, wedding photographers, combine 35 with the 85. So I can't tell you not to get it, but I'm also not going to tell you go get it. This is just an experience. It's not a selling video. It's just how I feel about it. I'm very mixed with it. I wanted to sell this lens a lot, but I might get 500 for it, probably less. So it doesn't really matter if I keep it or sell it. There's no difference in bank account with 500 euros. It's not that much to make a difference, so I still have it. And I use it here and there, but in general, if I want a wide angle lens, I go to 24. If I want to get portraits with a little bit of surrounding, I take the 50mm. So this is a niche product that for me, in my photography, it's the least used lens, just because I like the other focal length more. And that was my very contrasty review to the Sigma 35mm f1.4 art lens. I will show you some more pictures and videos. Again, let the images decide. And I'm not judging this lens now. I'm just giving you my experience, my opinion. And I hope the images will speak to you. I do this video, I'm talking now to a camera. And I do these videos to emotionally touch somebody who wants to get deeper into photography. And maybe that person is you. If you are touched emotionally by these videos, please give me some feedback. Write me what you want to hear. What kind of stuff do you want to hear? What is it that I can give you? Is it a camera lens review? Is it a camera review? Is it more videos on the streets, more videos with my girlfriend? More talking about whatever? Just give me your idea. And these videos only have a value when they are seen, and when they are seen and they are felt. And so I hope I could touch some of you today. Thank you very much, and see you soon.